the new headquarters of Haunted Hoax. Actually, they're in the basement, but I'll be shooting up here until I get them put together. In this episode, I'll be addressing two topics that have been emailed to me multiple times over the past year by you. The first is psychics. Spoon bending has been used to fool blind believers by so-called psychics for decades now. The most well-known is Uri Geller, who in my opinion was and continues to be a fraud, and his powers a hoax. I performed a few of his tricks and others I saw being pawned off as reality at the start of my last episode. And here's one more. Now those tricks in my past video were all done using the same spoon, this one right here. And I didn't use my mind to heat up the metal for it to break. I bent it the normal way. I bent it this way and just to the point where it was about to break, and then it just needed a little bit more coaxing to bend. And then once it was broken, all I had to do for the other tricks was pinch the two ends together and just wave my hand over it whichever way I want to go. Simple trick. This next trick is a modified version of a psychic demonstration performed by Uri Geller on a morning TV show back when I was just still in diapers. And all Uri did was he had a handful, a handful of different kind of spoons. And I have big ones, I've seen these being bent on. I have round ones, I have regular teaspoons. And what he did is he just took a spoon at random, grabbed one, and he placed it in the hand of the host. He just placed it in the hand of the host, and he asked them to think of it, say, bend, think bend, bend, spoon bend, and then the spoon bent. Now I don't have anything in my hand that would bend the spoon. I have my ring on, but here, I'll take that off. And here's where I'm going to modify the trick just a little bit. I'm going to take the spoon again and just place it in my hand. And now this time we're going to say, unbend, unbend, unbend. And the bend is gone. Solid spoon. But all this is a trick. This is a trick just like every other spoon bending video you see online. They're all tricks. It's not psychic powers. Another power that psychics claim to possess is the ability to speak with the dead. But what they're actually doing is called cold reading, where they just throw out a bunch of general information and latch onto those little bits that stick. In the past, and unfortunately still today, there are other tools used to speak with spirit spooks and spectral beings. The most popular at seances and sleepovers is the Ouija board, which is the predecessor of the planchette board. And now I'm seeing that the K2 has become the new Ouija board, and too much trust is given to the brilliant display of rainbow flashing lights. This little device has come a long way in a short time, and all it's missing now is a Parker Brothers logo and shelf space in the toy section of your local Walmart. Now other people, including members of the team who first introduced the K2 to the public, have already explained and shown how two-way radios, cell phone text messages, and other transmitting devices can create false readings on the K2, so I'm not going to get into it. But I personally have to thank Ryan at the Oil Region Paranormal Investigation Team in Pennsylvania for sharing his and their research and test results with me, so I didn't have to go through it. Now if I could just get my money back for this piece of crap. Now I dug a little deeper just to see how far people are going to speak with the dead. And with today's technology, we have a few new avenues that will take us to the other side. And more gadgets on the ever-growing list of paranormal junk that I need to dissect and hopefully have pulled from the ghost hunting kits of amateur teams all over the world. Now chances are you probably own this next device and never thought you could use it to speak with ghosts. I never did until I read this tutorial online. It's the iPod. And the way it works is the ghost actually communicates to you by scrolling through the names of bands and songs in your playlist. And it's just like the Ouija. You set this down on the table, and you and some friends place your fingers on the click wheel, and then you ask questions as normal. Say, well, what's your name? And your finger goes in, the finger's going around, and they scroll, and they're scrolling, and it lands on flogging Molly. So your name must be Molly. Well, hello, Molly. How did you die? And the fingers are on there, and they're scrolling and scrolling. The ghost is moving your finger, and it lands on Well, Bullet in the Head by Rage Against the Machine. Now, if you believe this, there's something else in your head. This was probably thought up by someone who turns every anomaly into spirit activity, or someone out there trying to take your money for some new, unproven piece of investigation junk that you just don't need. There's the K2 geophones, ghost meters, jewel-encrusted microphones, ghost lights, the obelisk. I don't care if you did see these being used on television. It's all junk. If you want to hunt for ghosts, there are only 3 things you need to bring. Number 3, a flashlight. You don't have to stalk around in the dark. There are just as many reported daytime sightings as there are nighttime, if not more. Number 2, a camera to document your trip out. And number 1, your head. More importantly, what's inside of it. And don't be afraid to use what you got. It's the most powerful tool you have, but at the same time, the creator of most paranormal claims. Being that this gimmick to speak to the dead is an iPod, I don't think that financial gain is the motive. But there are a lot of people out there preying on your love of the paranormal and using it to take your money. Chris Moon in the Franks box, also known as the Ghost box, sits at the top of my list. I was told that he charges $500 for a 30-minute session where he asks questions to a radio transmitter and then plucks the answers from the ghosts out of the static as the dial goes to the different frequencies. And I recently went to Radio Shack looking to purchase one of their digital radios that I've seen being altered into a ghost box. But when I got to the store, I was told that the item was being discontinued and pulled from all the shelves. Now I wonder, why would they pull such an item off the shelves? Could it be that that device and other devices are flawed? Sylvia Brown is another name you should know, and she's the queen of my S list. Because she has hurt countless families time and time again who are suffering from a recent loss or looking for answers about a loved one who has died mysteriously or is missing. And if the mental and psychological damage she is causing isn't enough, she's actually cashing in on her lies. And she's made millions on her personal appearances and book sales. The fact is, she and every other psychic in the world are cold readers. These people, these frauds, need to be stopped, investigated, and then, if found guilty, thrown in prison and then forced to pay back every single dime they've conned from people during their psychic careers. As I'm sure you can tell, I take this subject very seriously. And it's just that I don't like seeing good people being taken. So as for telekinesis, here's the final breakdown. No one can move, bend, or manipulate objects with their thoughts. No one. Not you, not your friend, not your neighbor, not that creepy guy down the street who never leaves his house, and then when you're walking back from school, he's peeking at you through the blinds, and then he's standing in his open doorway in his robe, and he's like, "Come on, Jimmy, come on in, I'll read your future." And then you look down and you see that his robe is open, and his divining rod is out and rising. Not even he could do it. No one. It's a trick. And if you could, or anyone else, you'd be headline news and $1 million richer thanks to the James Randi Challenge. Until next time, remember to ask, did it really happen? Did I just want it to happen? Or did someone make it happen? Happy haunting.